Hello everyone and welcome to our new episode of the Expat Career and Lifestyle podcast. This is Dominika, your host, and our special guest today is Sandra Lewis, founder and CEO of Worldwide One-on-One, a premium virtual assistant company with team members in North America and Europe. And today with Sandra, we are going to speak about how to find the right remote job position. Hello, Sandra. Thank you for being with us today.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So please tell us more about yourself and your business.
Of course. Well, you've said quite a bit already. I'm Sandra, and I'm the founder and CEO of Worldwide One-on-One. And Worldwide One-on-One, as you said, is a premium virtual assistant company. We were established in 2012, and we support successful business owners, founders, executives with anything ranging from marketing, writing, social media, project management, sales support, executive assistance, bookkeeping, basically anything and everything that a successful growing business might need to grow. And as you said, our team is based in the US and in Canada, so in North America, and also throughout Europe and in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you started your VA company a few years ago. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit more about your company evolution, how it has changed and how it's changing now, and also how your expat experience impacted your business?
Yeah, the expat is what I really want to talk to you about, because hopefully that will really be of interest to your audience. So I'm French originally, as some people might be able to tell from my accent. I have been an expat myself since I was 18 years old, and that's quite a long time ago. I'm not going to say exactly how long ago it is, but let's say it's a long time ago. It's more than 20 years ago. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. So my story is that when I was 18, I left my home country and I moved to the US. I was going to be in the US for a year or two, and then it turned out that I was there for 21 years. So I was there for a very long time. So I guess the expat, I don't know if you can call yourself an expat when you've been in a country for so long, but I always considered still myself to be originally French, living in a foreign country. Mm-hmm. And then a few years ago, because of family reasons, my husband and I needed to come back on this side of the world, in the European side of the world. So we've been in the UK. My husband is British. And at that time, having lived in a foreign country my whole life and being exposed to people internationally and working for international companies, I really didn't want to somehow, go backwards and, being in a country where, I was going to a 9-to-5 job. Maybe I would only work with people within that country. I wanted to keep my international reach and keep working with people at an international level. And I also had been working really, really long hours. So I wanted a change in pace, and I didn't want to, continue with the rat race. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? Turns out that it was 2010, and it was really kind of the rise of remote work at that time, freelance platforms and a lot of people being able to work virtually, and online tools that were becoming available. So I thought, well, maybe I can find, a job online. And at the time, it was really on Upwork that I looked for. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that, many people know Upwork. It's evolved over time. At the time, it was called Elance many years ago. And I found a couple of clients. I was doing project management and HR consulting because that was my background. And it kind of grew really organically from there. Quite a few of the people that I was supporting started asking me for help in other areas, which I didn't feel I had the expertise. Excel spreadsheets and bookkeeping and marketing. And so I thought, well, there seems to be a demand. Maybe I can, assemble a team that can support these people. And so that's what I did. I looked for people who were in a similar situation as I was, with 20 years of professional experience, but who didn't necessarily want to work in a traditional environment, but who still wanted to use their skills in a rewarding job and supporting great businesses and really making a difference. And that's really where it all started. It grew organically with, clients referring their friends and their friends and their friends, and me kind of, trying to assemble a team. And obviously over the years, we've really established a proper business. At the beginning, it really wasn't. And there was a lot of trial and error, in particular in finding the right people and in recruiting the right people for our clients. And over time, we've put a structure in place and procedures, and we've created also a company culture that wasn't there at the beginning. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. So it was like a step-by-step process, like taking small steps and evolving. Yeah, and everything was evolving organically.
Yes. In a way, it was wonderful because, when you're very small, you can make mistakes. And it allowed me to make mistakes at the beginning, and then, to grow the company into what I wanted it to be ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
When you're big, it's really difficult. Every mistake counts because your reputation is at stake when you're suddenly, when you're a bigger company. But the step by step and the organic growth was fantastic to allow me to really think through and mold the company in a way that I thought would be successful ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So how does someone can find the right remote job, and where to look for job positions, or have like a clarity about what you exactly want to do and how you can find it?
Well, I mean, it really depends what you're looking for. Obviously, there's the freelance options, as I mentioned, the Upwork, and there's people per hour. There's different websites where you can apply for or more bid for jobs, right? In terms of bidding for jobs, and then there's websites like Flex Jobs and Virtual Vocations, which I particularly like, and we advertise our jobs on those two websites, and I like them because they vet the companies that they post the jobs for, so you can be pretty confident if you apply for a job there that it's a company that's reputable, that actually has the fund to hire you, and usually those are more long-term projects, long-term tenures versus the one-off freelance jobs. Obviously, with remote, I'm sure that's not new to anyone. You just have to make sure it's legit, whatever you're applying for. And then, of course, there's virtual assistant companies or agencies like us. So if you're looking for stability and for something that's long term, and if you're not so good at kind of selling yourself, we have a lot of people who apply to work with us who are amazing at what they do, but finding the job, bidding for the job, selling yourself is a whole different skill set, and they prefer to just get on with it and do the job. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like selling yourself, it's also like important, like because you have to market yourself, like creating your own brand, even if you are you are working remotely or you are like a freelance. Yeah, so it's important to create like your own brand. And yeah. So
it's different. Like if you're really good at that, then I would say freelance sites and flex jobs and places where when you're really good at marketing yourself, those can be really successful. And if you prefer not to have to market yourself, then you can work for a company like ours, because obviously we find the clients and we serve them to you on a golden platter. So that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. So like based on your own experience, what are the mistakes to avoid while looking for a remote job position?
Yeah, that's a good question. What comes up for me is knowing your own worth. I mean, now with globalization and people being able to basically work remotely from anywhere in the world, you have a lot of competition for virtual and remote positions. And I think it's really important for people who are professionals and for people who want to make this their career to not necessarily go as low as, you know, getting paid $5 an hour just because there's all these people who are okay to being paid $5 an hour because maybe they are not in the country. Maybe they're in a country where it's okay to earn $5 an hour. So I think one big mistake I would just caution people is that know your own worth. Of course, you have to start somewhere. So I'm not saying that, you know, you don't have to sometimes lower your rates when you start in a remote and virtual position, but keep in mind that, you know, this is the beginning. I'm stepping in. I'm starting. Okay, I'm happy to earn a little less than I think I should be earning, but ultimately set your goal that you earn what you think you're worth. I think that's really important.
Yeah, so like knowing exactly how much you can charge for your services or like working remotely. This is
and have it as a goal, you know. I mean, it might not happen over time. I mean, it might not happen right away, but over time that, you know, it's not because you're working remotely and virtually that you should be paid less. I mean, you know, people, I think people with professional experience, wherever they're in the world, have a lot to offer. It's the way of the future as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, that's the business we're in, you know, that you can find professionals and people who are very, very skilled, that are not necessarily in your office and that are worth the same as someone who is in your office. So I think if we all collectively hold that intention, you know, I think it will help with the worth of professionals who are working remotely and not necessarily in office, that it's not less than an in-office professional.
Yeah. So you say something important that like this kind of working, remote working online is like the future of the job market. It is also like a big possibility. Now we can hear like a lot of speaking about being a digital nomad, traveling and working, and it is also a possibility for expats. So as you and also as who don't want to like reinvent themselves every time they move. So, and there's also like a lot of competition now because 7 years ago or like 5 years ago, it was like a little bit different. But now you have like more possibilities to work online and also more competition. So how do you like how you can be different from others online?
So you mean because there's so much competition?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you stand out?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I believe that it's really important to have a niche, you know, and very specific skills. You know, if you have a very particular niche, then you can really market it to that audience. So, you know, if you're passionate about the music industry, let's say, and you are excellent at social media, then I would say focus on just that. You know, focus on speaking to those musicians and how you can help them. I really think niche marketing is the best these days because there's so many generalists and people who are looking for someone that will help them are going to look usually for those keywords. You know, I'm a musician. Who has found a social media and marketing expert that can help musicians, for example? So I would say, you know, try to look to see what you're really, really good at, become an expert, and then market that expertise to an industry that you're passionate about. Because I think that's your passion comes through, and obviously it's more rewarding for you as well.
Yes. So, like talking about skills, like what skills would I need to have, or also to develop to work remotely?
I would say, you know, I don't think that you need many different skills than you would need to be in office. Because again, I'm coming back to, I think this is really the way that, you know, we're all going to be working in the future. So I always say, the people that we hire are people who have exceptional skills. And our expectations are that, they would have those skills if they were in an office. So, professionalism, diligence, discipline, a desire to make a difference, and obviously the specialty skills. One thing, obviously, that's really important is the ability to learn online tools, because that's really the basis for working virtually. So maybe that's the slight difference on top of everything else that's normal, and that a normal job would require. The ability to learn online tools and to be a little tech savvy. Obviously, there's so many tools and so many apps these days, and you can never learn all of them. But if you work with clients remotely, and if you have the confidence to be able to say, oh yeah, I've worked with this one, this is not that different, that's a nice way to build confidence. The other thing I would say, and I think the expat community is very familiar with that one, is adaptability. I think to work remotely and virtually, it requires a little bit more adaptability than a traditional office job, where it's more constant and, the 9 to 5, and it's a routine. I think when you work virtually and remotely, you might have multiple clients and multiple personalities to work with. So being able to be adaptable is something that I think will always be very useful in this environment. So, online tools and adaptability, and then everything else that you would expect in a normal environment.
Yes. So how would someone transition from a traditional 9 to 5 work to working online virtually?
Well, I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. It really depends on I guess, your circumstances. Some people, might want to dab into the virtual work by, going freelance a little bit while they continue to work, to kind of fill out whether that's something they want to do. And that's good if you are able to market yourself, as we talked about earlier, because there's a lot of competition. And other people might want to, look for an agency or a virtual assistant company where, as I said earlier, it's usually a little bit more secure, although not always guaranteed. But as a premium virtual assistant company, for my company, it's definitely, guaranteed that if you work with us, you are going to be full on and very, very busy with opportunities and clients all the time. So it really depends where you're at in your new career choice or in your evolution.
Yes. But for example, do I have to work on my mindset or organizations of myself, because it's a different. So I had some at the beginning when I started to work online and working for myself. For me it was quite difficult to adapt myself and to organize my time because I was working online and I was working from my home office. So. Sometimes you can work not from 9 to 5, but you can work on Saturday morning or on Friday afternoon. So I was struggling with adapting myself to having this organization of time, to having this flexibility. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, definitely discipline, and I always say we get on average 800 applications a month for our jobs, and we hire on average 4 to 5 people every month. So obviously, there's a lot of people that unfortunately don't make it, and we always say to people, it's remote and virtual is unfortunately not necessarily for everyone. As you say, it does require the ability to multitask and to structure your day in a very disciplined way. So definitely, if you come from a traditional office environment, it does take a little bit of adjusting. Well, I'm going to say it takes a little bit of adjusting, for people who might not have multitasked so much in a traditional work environment. But I think it's definitely learnable.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it takes. Yeah, I think I don't know, a little bit of time, but you can adapt, to work online and change your like mindset or your structure. So like on another hand, talking from the point of view of a business owner, where can we how do I find the right remote professional as a business owner? Because sometimes it can be difficult to find the right person for your team or for the project that you are working on.
Yes. Again, it's interesting. It's kind of similar. It really depends on your unique circumstances and what you need for your business. So, some businesses need one-off support. They have tasks that sometimes they need help with, or a project that they sometimes need help with. And again, the freelance alternative might be great for that. If you're looking for someone who is going to be integrated into your business, who is going to be vetted and who hopefully will stay with you for years, then, a more personalized approach, like working with a premium virtual assistant company or an agency, is probably easier, because obviously, freelance platforms, you don't always know who you're going to get. So it might be fine for a one-off project or a one-off task, but if you are looking for someone for the long term and you don't really want to be bogged down by having to, go through hundreds of applications or hundreds of bids, not even knowing, whether at the end of the day you're going to find someone, then going through an agency or a virtual assistant company is obviously much more time efficient.
Great. So thank you very much for being with us today and sharing your own experience and all the tips. So where can we find more information about you? And I also know that you have a fantastic free gift for our listeners.
So we are on worldwide101.com, and for all the expats and job seekers who are interested in finding out more about working with us, it's worldwide101.com/jobs. And yes, we have a great ebook that we created on how to get started as a freelancer or as a virtual assistant. So it's quite a bit of what we talked about today for people who are interested in making that transition from the traditional office to a remote and virtual work. So it has some of the tools that are useful and some of the things that would be useful to know when working remotely.
Great. Thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you for sharing your free gift and for being with us today.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. So thank you very much for listening, and please let us know what are your learning points from this episode, and go and grab Sandra's free gift. Thank you very much, and I will be back soon with another fantastic guest.